Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of MTG Sin Senpai. So, Bloomburrow Prerelease has just happened. This is my winnings from this particular event, or from this particular weekend. Of the 7 events that I was planning on attending, unfortunately, I was not able to go to one of them due to issues with my home. But we're getting that worked out. Luckily, no one got hurt. But in the end, we have multiple packs to go through of the particular set, and made me sad to learn that apparently you cannot get certain one of the commander deck cards, specifically the planeswalkers that are shifted into different animals in the play boosters. You can only get them in the collector boosters, but look forward to that video in the near future. But of this entire set, the only card I really want is that ridiculous Karn, the Great Creator, I believe is the one. It's the one where he is just a tree. It's a tree with his face on it, and it's like a silver tree. It's amazing. But unfortunately, from my understanding, you cannot get them in the play boosters. You can only get them in the collector boosters. And I think there's one commander deck that has it. I might, depending on how things go, I might go about just buying the commander deck just to get the card, or I'll try and just buy the single itself. But here's hoping that we can possibly open it in the near future. But for now, let's just go ahead and open these prize packs for now. And then here's hoping that we get some good stuff. Now, from my understanding, I don't know what cards are actually worth anything in the set. And of course, the set hasn't even released yet. But with that being the case, we still don't, the market is going to continue to fluctuate. But for now, I will just enjoy the cards that I'm going to get. We get ourselves a Valley Might Caller. Ridiculous. The fact that it's a Frog Warrior, there's not too many frogs, but there's a lot of rabbits and squirrels. So it can go into either the Selesnya or the Golgari deck. I think it's going to be really good. I might actually run that in a mono green shell or an aggro Selesnya build, possibly. Looking at commons and uncommons. But there's a lot of power in this particular set, and this particular set is a lot more aggressive than I anticipated, to be honest. And especially in comparison to MH3. MH3 was a little bit on the slower side. I got to pause and just make note. These tokens look amazing. Unfortunately, there are so many tokens in the set that it seems like it's going to be a little bit difficult to get our hands on all of them. And oh boy, our first mythic of the packs. We got ourselves the Beza, the Bounding Spring, the essentially Ketchup. Oh, and our first double rare pack. This is a ridiculous Valiant card. The value that you can generate from this is absurd. So yeah, there's hoping that, I mean, I've seen a couple streamers that did the early access video essentially, and man, the Boros Mouse aggro deck just looks insane. And this particular card, I'm sure, will just push it forward. And of course, that's more of like in the late game, but even in the early game, like stuff like this thing is ridiculous. It's already a 3-mana 3/2 Vigilance Haste, which is already absurd. And then with the Valiant, it'll get +1/+1 counters, like nuts. So I feel like, and I know earlier I mentioned, I'm kind of rambling, but it's been kind of a long weekend. But 3 Tree City, I know this is one of the cards that's worth some money at the moment. I definitely will never be unhappy about this because I do play a lot of commander decks that are tribal or typal or whatever Wizards is calling it now. But I'm going to still call it tribal for now. I have plenty of elf decks that would love to have that in there. Elf decks is already good. Goblin decks. I have a Slimes Against Humanity deck that I'm planning on building for Commander, and having that for Slimes is going to be... I mean, green is already pretty solid when it comes to ramping, but having another land source to just make insane amounts of mana is going to be fun. I even have a rabbit deck, which, funny enough, this token card would be really good in that said rabbit deck. I forget the name of the commander. It's the commander from the Adventures from the Forgotten Realms, I believe, was the set it came from. It's a Selesnya 3/3 Trampler that whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you create 1/1 rabbits for each token you control. So yeah, it's I feel like the Caretaker's Talent and of course the 3 Tree City Land are things I'm going to definitely be using. I'm never going to not rant about this Wizard, stop printing these advertisements. Like, we bought the booster packs. We don't need more reasons to buy booster packs. And I understand that's promoting Arena, but it's like, eh. I mean, typically players that do play the actual Magic actually already playing Arena just because it's a great way to, test cards and do that particular thing, especially for Standard and Limited and things like that. But there's also the players that have not played actual Magic that are coming in and playing it based off of Arena. But like, we don't need advertisements in your packs because we're going to be buying these things regardless. Like, I feel like it's a weird moot point. Oh, first foil rare, Coiling Rebirth. I really like this particular sorcery. It's a lot of fun, especially because I don't mind gifting a card, especially if the thing that I'm reanimating is going to be something just absurd. There's a lot of amazing ETB effects in this particular set that I'm a big fan of. Examples being, I know a lot of people is not a big fan of it, but there's a 4-mana, 4/3 rat that whenever it enters the battlefield, essentially it does a Torment of Hailfire trigger for 1. So if you keep on bouncing that or making a bunch of copies of that, and boy oh boy, first foil mythic. Season of Weaving, this card is nuts. I really like this card. I've opened a lot of those during my pre-release. Oh wow, and it's a double mythic pack too. My first time pulling a Kitsa. But in regards to the Season of Weaving, the number of times I pulled it during the pre-releases, it's kind of absurd. I think I pulled 3 total. And I played it pretty much every time I had one. I played it in that deck, or played blue, or an aspect of blue X, because that Season Weaving is just, it's so good. I think it's amazing. If you're ahead, you just draw 5 cards, or even if you're behind, you can bounce the board and make a token copy of one of your things. It just does a lot of stuff for the 6 mana. Cruel Claw's Heist. I like this card a lot. I don't think you would ever not give your opponent the gift, just because you're going to exile a card from their hand, so you get a look at everything. And the fact that the way that gifting works, they'll draw that card prior to resolving the rest of the spell. So you're guaranteed to look at least 1 card in your opponent's hand. So it's a lot of fun. And it was definitely interesting to play that, gift my opponent a card, and take their removal spell and play it on them. Definitely a lot of fun. Got ourselves our forest rare. But in regards to the set itself, like, what was everyone else's experience? Like, what do y'all think of the set so far? I gotta say, I really like the set a lot. Each particular tribal or tribe or color pair seems really well fleshed out, and the fact that there's a nice amount of what's the word I'm looking for, crossover, so that you can potentially play different creatures in different decks. Really good double rare pack, which is super cool. But the fact that there are certain creatures that just work in both aspects, like example being this particular Bird Scout, it can be played in the Azorius deck or a blue X deck or a white X deck. So it's still a strong card. So I do feel like overall this particular set was a lot of fun. Doing it sealed, it doesn't seem like it's gonna be as strong, just because you do have to hope for the best for the synergies, because it's possible to, I know one of my pools, I got the, what was it, the Kamala, I believe that was her name, the squirrel, Golgari legendary, the 3/3 that whenever you sack food, you make another squirrel, and then you could forage and give all your squirrels +1/+1 counters. I got that as one of my rares, but I didn't get any of the black-green squirrels. Like, there was no other squirrels in my pool. So it was like, it was very rough, and it was unfortunate that, because that card, it's a very strong card, but I could not do anything with it. Rare of the pack, and it's like, I feel like sealed is, I mean, that's always been the case for sealed. It's always hit or miss, and you just gotta really build with what you have. But I feel like draft is going to be an insanely fun environment for this particular set. I mean, there's plenty of little, like, mixing, and from what I've heard from other streamers and other content creators, they mentioned that this particular set is going to be more of like a 2-color set. I do have to agree. There's not too much mana fixing, one of them being this, which is, I think this is an amazing mana fixer, especially even if you're not one specific type. You can always call a different one just depending on what you have, but in the end, it's still a 3 mana rock that tap for any color, so it's still a pretty solid card. But overall, it's like it's a little difficult to actually splash into the third color, and not more often than not, you probably just do like a touch of the splash just for like maybe a single card or maybe 2 cards. First time actually seeing this particular squirrel. But yeah, that's actually a pretty ridiculous squirrel. And search your deck for a squirrel and put it into your hand. Wow. Pretty nuts. That's all I gotta say. Pretty nuts. Pun intended. But yeah, this set has been an absolute blast. I'm definitely looking forward to drafting this set. But what's funny is the fact that I believe it's Duskmourn that's coming out next. It's the pre-release for Duskmourn is coming out literally a month from now, pretty much. Well, no, it's at the end of September is we're going to be doing with Duskmourn. Ooh, another foil mythic, Helga, the Skittish Seer. I think this is going to be a fun commander to play around. Will it be really strong? Probably not. Not to be honest, but I just feel like it does a lot of stuff. And then another frog mechanic that's just a lot of fun is just the fact that things bounce. And this was our first triple rare pack, so that's pretty neat. But the fact that Duskmourn is coming out, the pre-release I believe is September 20th, and fun fact, that's going to be my birthday weekend, but that's literally like a little bit over a month from now. So it's like, it's interesting to see that how quickly that particular set's coming out shortly after this one has released. So I'm not sure what's going on with Wizards and why they're doing that particular choice. But for as much as we get to draft this set, I want to make sure to draft this set as much as I can. Just because it's got a lot of fun stuff going on. And I definitely enjoy just the mechanics overall. And I'm going to try and get my hands on the Boros Mouse stuff just to make a standard deck. And then I do have a mono green standard deck that I'm running as well that I think I would have some fun. I have to look at and evaluate some of the cards here. But I do know that there was a couple cards I might be interested in, like that 1 mana rabbit I pulled earlier that has the... Oh, that's awesome. Getting sidetracked and distracted. Rat Colony. The fact that Rat Colony is in this as a special guest is amazing, and the fact that there are rats that just synergize with it is just great. And that is an awesome mythic to pull. We got Shells of Caretaker's Talent. But back to what I was talking about, the rabbit. It's a 2/1 for 1 in green. That whenever your stuff gets targeted by an effect, you put a +1/+1 counter on something else that you control. So it's like it's an answer to removal decks, essentially. It's kind of nuts. And the fact that it has Offspring, if you happen to do that Offspring cost at the later points of the game, throwing away this useless advertisement, you get 2 +1/+1 counters anytime your opponent tries to target one of your permanents and remove it, which is kind of absurd if you really think about it. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be brewing on that, especially for Standard, because I know Wizards is really trying to get Standard back off the ground, and now that we have so many sets cycling out, let's see what that shakeup's going to be like, because there's not going to be any more Raffines. There's going to be essentially a lot of decks are going to be nerfed real hard, and oh boy, that is our first Maha. Maha is a card that I was definitely looking to build around for Commander for sure. I mean, this and Pestilence, this and so many other cards, it's just absurd. Essentially to just, your opponents just will not have creatures and they will not have a fun time. So that Maha, I know is going to be a lot of fun. I know whenever that got spoiled, I saw that and instantly thought, that and Pestilence. I mean, I know there's other cards to combo with it, but it's just an easy put two together and just do disgusting things to all the opponents at the table. So yeah, that's going to be definitely a lot of fun to play. Super happy with that. And then Lumra, Bellow of the Woods. I really like this bear. Is it stupid strong? Not the really, at least I don't think so. But the fact that it's Vigilance and Reach, it's offensive and defensive and just gets really big depending on at what point of the game you play it. I'm thinking about doing some crazy something in regards to lands and like with the Titanias, that whenever you have lands go into the graveyard, you make elementals, then play Lumra and just bring them all back. I mean, landfall green decks have always been a thing in Commander, and they just get better. Oh, this is my first of this particular token. That's pretty sweet. Pearl of Wisdom, that, and our Dour Port Mage. I think we got a playset of these now. So that is our final pack from this particular pool of prize packs. So far, I think I did pretty well with my prize packs. I mean, let's just do a recount of the mythics in comparison to everything else. Move everything out of the way. Rares, mythics. I'm just going to count the special guests. I'm just going to count straight up as a mythic. I mean, they are mythic, yes, but the chances of pulling special guest cards, I feel like they've decreased the chances of pulling them, so they're even more rare than they were before. The double mythic pack was pretty sweet, but I know there is that other. I'm trying to think, what is it? Relentless Rats was another special guest as well in this particular set. So I'm hoping I can get some of those as well, because I do have a Relentless Rat deck, and that would be really cool. So we're going to do the recap of our mythics here, which are pretty busted. Did not even count, just kind of went over them. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 mythics in all the packs that we opened. I probably should have counted the number of packs that I opened, but it is what it is. I'm just so excited because to open packs. Definitely excited about this particular one, and I think overall this particular pile was definitely a lot of big hits for me, at least for some of the things that I'm looking to do. Definitely going to be starting to brew, and especially this bunny right here. I'm going to probably start brewing some decks and some crazy ideas. I mean, I know the Boros aggro decks is going to be a thing. Kind of trying to think maybe what else I can do in addition to that, or probably against that. But yeah, that's our packs for tonight. Thank you guys again. I know these are going to be the older codes, but here's some codes for people to enjoy. I have a handful more to go through, so here you guys go. If you've already claimed a couple, do try and let others claim them as well. Try and share the wealth. And if you guys made it to this point of the video, thank you so much again for taking the time to watch my content. I appreciate you guys a lot. I know that I'm trying to keep it more regular and trying to keep this content flowing for you guys. I do appreciate everyone that does take the time to at least watch the video, or if you don't actually watch it or just have it playing in the background, just listening to my sultry voice. I do appreciate that. So thank you guys again for taking the time to watch the video. Do take the time as well to like, comment, subscribe, and share with some of your friends. See if there's anyone that may be interested. I'd really enjoy trying to get myself out there. So thank you again, guys. Appreciate you guys. Look forward to some more content coming soon in the near future. And never forget, Senpai didn't notice. Good night.